reached a lot of people was Oliver Stone. This film's going to preach to the choir, which is what Cindy Sheehan says. There is no choir, but there's 80 people here. So we need to do things that the film told us by putting Oliver Stone's film in there, and that is we need to use helicopters, video games, and all the means they use on us that we're not using. Okay, who's got a helicopter? Anybody? Other comments? Someone? Wes, what do you think?
I loved it. I'd like to get that in every school around the country.
Yeah, by the way, you get that online, Occupy American Autumn. Talk to me.
As documentaries go, I didn't think it was, I've seen much more didactic films. I think, Oliver Stone was making narrative, which is much easier to get involved with because you have the verisimilitude, as it were. But this, because it is a documentary, had an interesting take on things. I thought it was well done. The only thing that I noticed is that it's talking about a horizontally democratic movement, and yet it tended to focus on sort of iconic figures like Phyllis Bennis and John Nichols.
Sure.
Those are the guys who get the bylines. I was actually more interested by the little people who seem to have their shit together on a lot of stuff.
Leaders emerge, and we do tend to create. Linda, what do you think?
No, I thought it was a wonderful film. I loved the information. I loved the way it was laid out, especially in terms of financing the war and what it could buy for us here. I thought that was very well presented. I did think that I'd like some. I know we don't believe in Occupy to see it, but that there's no way of hell of getting there. Sort of clockwork orange.
Trick 'em. Someone else. Yes, sir.
I teach an adult education class, and we when I brought this anniversary up today, half the class or more was really in the dark about what Occupy is, what is this anniversary. I'm really excited to show this film in my class. To Jerry's point about preaching to the choir, it's like we need to preach. We need to find some people that will be inspired or don't know yet. I think this would be great for classrooms.
But you got to talk their language to convince them, because to show your people who don't know what Occupy this is, they'll go, oh, that's cool, but I'm not part of that. Let's have some female voices. Juliana.
Yeah, I disagree. I've been thinking of my coworkers, for example. They're terrible conservative. I work in a preschool, and they're very sheltered. I don't want to say that not so, they're very sheltered. So I think that is a great documentary for them to realize what this is about, because I felt that it was very broad and it had, to me, a lot of points in it. We now develop too much for people to be able to tie it together, especially the numbers.
Okay, I just want to keep everybody. Sir, you hit your hand.
Oh, I thought it was great, and I want to personally thank you for bringing it here. And I think it could be like the new medium cool. Does anybody know that, medium cool?
Oh yeah.
It had a lot of those elements, and I think it rocks, and it's going to do the job, and it did for me, and I thank you for bringing it.
Thank you for that input, sir, ma'am.
I thought it was beautiful, but the only thing that I wish you guys put in the bits of the different West Coast. I know they showed the Davis pepper spray, but that was it. And I think some of the most significant parts that take place in Oakland and LA, Denver.
West Side, yo. Peggy Kennedy.
I think that was actually a really good, well-rounded, in many ways, documentary show. Some that might be on the fence that we could bring in more, except for some might be afraid of getting arrested. But maybe they don't have to be arrested to be in the movement. But,
Yeah, by the way, the cops are outside, so I hope everyone's ready.
It was really speaking to the choir, and we were really bringing movement videos that were speaking to the choir. It would be nice if there was more critique of what's right or what's wrong, what works, what doesn't work. So, in effect, it wasn't really to be speaking to the choir.
Okay, gentlemen.
I like the fact that there was text on it, and I don't have those talking points memorized because the stats aren't turning into a motel, more people will just repeat everything out loud. And show it over and over.
Can I make a point
People get it.
to Jerry's point? He did reference the famous Ford and Gecko, Creed is Goodspeed. And it's true that Oliver Stone intended that character in that speech to be satirical, and people loved it. They actually cheered for it, and that character became very worshipped. Interestingly enough, the game Monopoly, the original creator, the original version, was designed to teach people about the evils of capitalism, and it got flipped. And so what we have here, I believe we have the slaves identifying with their captors. And I think, I mean, your point is excellent, but I think we have to change people's consciousness to make them realize that their voting practices and their belief system and their adherence to greed, money, 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 I gotta get me money, is what's destroying their own existence. Someone else, please, sir.
I know, that's great.
Oh, put him up. Anybody else? William in the corner, what do you got to say? Loudly.
I need to think about that a little bit more,
All right.
Robert.
Anybody else? Somebody, a man.
I listen to EvaMaria, and I noticed that they're always bringing down the Occupy, like bringing it down and saying that you guys don't have it together and all that, but I also noticed that you're the only ones that ever get arrested. It's been the Occupy, but anybody else that goes out there and march, nothing ever happens, like Martin Luther King, and even the Bernie Steady, and even the Mexicans are out, except for Mexico, nobody ever gets arrested, and with less people, even it's like they don't want to defend themselves or speak up. And then in the radios, I noticed that every radio station, all of them are Jewish, and they're all, for the American, the rich people, the money,
Okay.
against the people on their minds, how to think.
All right, thank you. Reverend Mike?
I kind of thought that the film itself was kind of shown through the lens of almost kind of this myopic kind of direct action kind of lens, because it really is what grabs your attention for the movement. It's the most high profile imagery, but the whole point of the Occupy movement and your number one discussions that we're hearing at KPFK is like, where are you filling the gaps to make that a full movement, is to also allow for people to contribute at their own level, however, activist point at the staircase, when they choose, whether that is coordinated community screenings, whether that is developing gardens, whether that is developing barter and community currency systems, whether that is doing non-direct action related events that don't necessarily involve the threat of the arrest. Because we're not going to get anywhere if there's 10% of the population on the streets, the other 80% are fleeing the back. Because there's other things we can do all the time that will help.
And let me plug our Occupy Venice. I know this is the only Occupy that I've been really involved in, and we've really morphed into a bit of a community outreach, community education. We have the garden at Venice High School. We're involved in the Ron Weekly Peating case. We obviously did the sleep out a couple of weeks ago. So
PNC?
what's that? The VNC. So I mean, there is a time for obstruction, but our focus thus far, at least the last 6 months, has been on creation and community building, and we want to continue that. I mean, it's having conversations like this, and it's connecting like this, and talking as people to each other. Man.
Yeah, I would have liked to. It was a very feel-good movie. It was a very feel-good movie. I would have liked to have seen a bit more fact about the basis of Occupy, like the tenets and some of the things like transparency and stuff promoted within the film.
Yes, because I agree with you. I think some of the principles of Occupy itself may or may not go on, but some of its horizontal principles need to be absorbed. Really, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Excuse me. Sorry.
I'm long-headed.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, anyway, I thought the movie was great. Got me really fired up about the Occupy movement, but at the same time, though, the Occupy movement gets a lot of bad press because people tend to steer it in the wrong direction. Like, look what happened with Occupy LA. So many average Joes were in there. They bought these brand new tents, but they're only there like when they have time. So that just turned into like just a homeless campground. And just got so much bad press because like they just took it over. It was a homeless campground. It smelled, it's dirty.
Right.
And then like Occupy Oakland. So many people just steered in the wrong direction. Like the Occupy Oakland, they started rioting. So I mean, like it's just kind of just taken away from the original intent of Occupy.
Thank you, sir. Man.
I thought it was a great film, and I liked that it's a trajectory of why all of these films are there. They're
Yeah, people get turned off because the children are throwing themselves into machinery that is crushing us, and they're fed up. But doesn't mean you have to do that, but there's other ways you can contribute. Mark, please share.
Yeah, well, you guys have kind of what we saw really good. Something that lose track of is that these issues that everyone was in the streets for just a year ago are just as urgent right now today. We kind of lose track of our focus that we still need to keep pushing away. And the one great thing that Occupy has done from the very beginning, stayed out of the politics of the personalities of the elections and focus on the issue. If we look at what's happening today with the presidentials and all this stuff, everyone's focusing on this guy or that guy. Well, how about here in California? California, we know Obama's going to win California. You know, let's face it, Obama's going to win the next election. We know this. Fine. Okay, let's focus on the issues for the next couple of months and push the agenda and push and push and push. So they're going to be focusing on what we're doing. Of everything that's going on right now in the country, who's got it right? The Chicago teachers. They're out there fighting for their issues and getting notice of what's happening to them and making their issue
And getting derided in the press.
what's going on in the elections.
The next issue I'd like to talk about is the fact that we're poor ass. And we'd like to pass around the donation bucket. Don't feel uncomfortable if you can't do anything, but we want to be able to kick Beyond Baroque back a little something. Peggy's going to start back there. I'm going to start it right here. If you can throw in something, you know, we give all this, we give to everybody freely. It's not about paying, it's just about keeping us afloat. But let's change the topic a little bit. We've critiqued the film a second. Let's change the topic and discuss now, what can we do as a community? Maybe you don't want to get arrested. That's fine. I don't particularly want to either. It may come to that, but I have other goals. I have other ways I'm going to operate against the system. What can we do within our community? Well, we held a sleep out and called attention to the homeless issues. What can we do besides being stuck behind our clicker and sign a petition that we may never even feel like it does anything? Any ideas? What can we do? The film is really challenging us, is it not? Is it really challenging us to do something?
Thank you for doing this, because that's a good way to reach a lot of people. I think the film addressed two important criticisms. The two that I heard the most was that the movement was unfocused, and that the people involved were degenerates. And I think that the film addressed both those issues really well, and we could do more swings.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
We can all leave the big banks if we haven't already.
Yep, that's a good, very great direct action. Thank you for that suggestion. Ma'am.
I was thinking about this, I think it's NEPA, last night, and they're suing for the deed.
NDAA, National Defense Authorization.
But no one wants to reappeal it, so they can go through, which means that everybody's in danger after that because they can arrest us all, put us away for life.
Yeah.
So we have to really work, focus on that to make sure that we get this putting the through with it, make sure it doesn't go through.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're not gonna be able to force this.
Yep. Thank you. Good suggestion. Ian?
I'll be right back. I'm going to post and then I'll be right back.